I've been growing food in my Austin, Texas garden for over 12 years. Without the help of a few season extending techniques, it can be very disappointing. High temperatures and searing sun followed by strong winds and Arctic air often occur in the same week. Over time, I've learned many lessons and developed systems that integrate a practical approach with a few basic resources. My mantra for how to protect plants from freezing temperatures is water, seaweed, cover. Let's break down my tips for Texas winter gardening so you can grow your own nutritious food. What's up everyone, it's Scott from New Garden Road. You know I'm here to inform, inspire, and elevate you. Encouraging biodiversity and restoring habitat is my mission, one garden at a time. First up, let's talk about the importance of timing in the garden. I recommend consulting a local garden planting guide, such as a Master Gardener program or an extension service. It's really going to be vital that you understand your first and last average frost dates. And I also recommend that you try succession planting and experiment. And in that way, if the weather trends above or below average, you are more than likely to get something that works. It's also vital that you stay weather aware, monitor any seasonal trends, and make sure you plan ahead. Gather your resources. Are you looking for a greenhouse or some frost cloth? Don't wait till the last minute. There's often a run on these supplies ahead of cold temperatures, and you don't want to be the last one in line. I've got a great video on how to make a hoop house for a raised garden bed, and it takes you step by step through the process. You only need a few basic resources. I always recommend having some rocks, clips, some PVC conduit, and something to anchor it to. It's also a good idea to have some incandescent lights on hand. When placed underneath this hoop house, that can do a good job at supplying some supplemental warmth during the coldest nights. Now let's break down my mantra, water, seaweed, cover. It's very important that you check for watering needs in the garden ahead of freezing temperatures. Thirsty plants will be more susceptible to damage from frost. Water acts like an insulator in plant cells, and moist soil will stay warmer longer than dry soil. Apply liquid seaweed on a regular basis. Seaweed acts as a growth regulator and it builds resilience in plants, and it will increase their tolerance of freezing temperatures. When seaweed extract is applied as a foliar application, leaf membranes will retain more integrity through weather extremes. Protect your plants with physical barriers. First and foremost, make sure you mulch any bare soil. This will act as a layer of insulation by helping to retain soil moisture. Many times we use whatever we have in the garden, whether it's blankets, sheets, or buckets to cover and protect our plants. I do recommend that you consider investing in a good quality frost cloth. These types of materials will be more efficient at helping to trap and retain passive solar heat that accumulates in the soil. In general, there are 3 grades of frost cloth. The lightweight can offer some insulation, but it's typically used as a barrier against insects. The medium weight can do a great job, particularly in the area of light frost, while heavyweight frost cloth will do a better job at insulating on the coldest nights. It's important to understand that you might not be able to bring your plants through these freezing temperatures. There's a pretty big difference between a light freeze and a hard freeze. A light freeze, in general, we're dipping just below 32 degrees right before sunrise. Temperatures aren't going to stay there for very long, and in general, with some protection, plants can tolerate that. During a hard freeze, we expect temperatures of 28 degrees or below for longer than 4 hours. And some warm weather crops such as beans or squash simply won't make it through even when they're protected. It may seem counterintuitive, but I recommend having some shade cloth on hand, probably the 40% grade for all-day coverage. That can help to keep those soil temperatures cooler. When the weather trends warmer ahead of cold temperatures, this can often trigger plants to bolt. That's exactly what happened in my own garden this past December heading into January. Throughout the month of December, we were well above average, and as a matter of fact, the last 3 days of December, we were in the low 80s. Immediately following, we had 2 consecutive hard freezes. That is a very difficult scenario for plants to adjust to, and despite my best efforts in employing many of these techniques, I did see some damage on what I generally consider some very cold tolerant plants. But the good thing is that they did survive and have rebounded since. All right. That one's kind of weird. Push it up for the audio. Okay, we're good. Now check out more awesome gardening videos on my channel. Like this video if you like it, and follow New Garden Road for weekly content. You can grow your own food. Keep it organic.